remember, 2016, Jeff Fisher was the coach of the Rams. They got rid of him and they hired a guy that never had a job before, not a head coach job before, called, I think you guys heard his name before, Sean McVay, who took them to a Super Bowl. So sometimes they need that fresh voice, that.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast, the global authority on coaching leadership, where coaching wisdom meets real talk. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Top Shelf Tuesday edition, we are starting our previews of the NFL as we get ready for the 2026 season. On today's show, we've got the AFC North, and we've got a big shakeup. We've got new coaches. We got big claims. And we'll talk about some things strictly for entertainment purposes only. Joining us today, academic and athletic consultant for the CKSA Project, George Ockard, and captain for life, Will Cotton. Gentlemen, it is the end of an era and also the great reset. So here's the general team outlook. Let's talk about the Ravens first. Moving on from an 18-year coaching period with John Harbaugh, you've got rookie coach Jesse Minter. The focus is on fixing the defense that struggled with consistency. And you know, he's a defensive guy. Pittsburgh, shout out to D. Skippy. They hired Mike McCarthy, former coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And the organization is betting on his veteran experience and track record with quarterback development. And you got Aaron Rodgers there, so that's kind of weird. Cleveland has Todd Monken. Welcome. And they also have like 15 quarterbacks, and I don't know what they're going to do. And then Cincinnati got Zach Taylor, and Joe Burrow is talking loud. So, George, I'm going to start with you. Any thoughts on the AFC North? Which team kind of are you watching?
I'm going to watch the Ravens. I think that getting Monken is going to be a breath of fresh air in there. I think they got the pieces to do what they need to do and to be very competitive. I don't see the Ravens taking a step back. It might even help them in the long run because it's going to be a different way of doing things and a different way of looking at things. What the hell are they doing in Pittsburgh? Is my thing right there. I mean, you barely got to the playoffs last year and you're running it back. McCarthy, you can bring McCarthy in, but who they have, the defense was the issue last year. Their secondary was horrible, and it's going to be horrible again because you didn't make any major changes. McCarthy cannot turn water into wine last time I checked. So, you know, your secondary is still going to be ass. So I don't know what they're going I don't know how that, and who's he throwing to? Who's the 80-year-old getting ready to get collect Social Security? Who's he throwing to? They got nobody. So, I mean, that's there. I still will go to Cincinnati. I love them offensively. Who plays defense there? Their best defensive player, they let them walk. So, who plays defense in Cincinnati? I mean, I'm wondering if, you know, Ohio State or Alabama doesn't have a better defense right now. So, they're going to have to outscore everybody. So, and then your last one, is a beyond. Actually, I said this in one of our earlier shows. I like what Monken and Sanders' relationship is. I think I see them. I see Cleveland heading in the right direction right now. That's how I feel. Do I think they're going to make any noise? They might surprise some people this year. I don't expect them to make the playoffs, but they got some solid young dudes. I do like the trade, even though they got rid of the best defensive player on the planet right now. I think what they got for him was good, and they got a solid replacement for him. I like what Cleveland's doing, and I like what Monken's doing down there.
All right, Cottonman, AFC North. I am always curious of how you see things strictly for entertainment purposes only. What are your thoughts on the teams and the coaching?
Oh, well, I mean, we'll see what happened with the Ravens. I mean, if we remember, 2016, Jeff Fisher was the coach of the Rams. They got rid of him and they hired a guy that never had a job before, not a head coach job before, called, I think you guys heard his name before, Sean McVay, who took them to a Super Bowl. So Sometimes they need that fresh voice, that fresh, you can't keep, I think I've said it previously. You got to stop recycling these coaches, man. I mean, especially if these dudes are losers, respectively. In my opinion, why are you giving Harbaugh 18 years? I'll stop talking about that. That's not what we're talking about right now. We're not talking about right now. The Steelers, we'll see what's interesting. Again, I don't know who's playing quarterback. I don't know. Maybe it's you, me, or George. I don't know what's going to happen. Not really looking for them. Cleveland, we'll see what happens. We'll see how long Deshaun Watson maintains on the starter job. I think at some point they're going to trade him. I think they're going to. I think somewhere they're going to send him somewhere. I think they're going to send him to Minnesota at some point. They're going to realize that experiment in Minnesota is not going to work. And they're going to strictly just go in and say, hey, look, let's go ahead and bite the bullet and go ahead and bring in Deshaun Watson. Because Minnesota said they're trying to compete. I don't know why they're saying that, but they've said it out loud. I wouldn't have said that.
But with that quarterback, but go ahead.
And I'm really interested to see what happened with the Bengals. Every now and again, maybe it's every 3 years, I don't know. But the Bengals somehow put in some sort of good team, and they're messing up everything up for the AFC North. Any sort of continuation is up to them. I don't know, injuries, things like that, but they always have one random year where they're, and George, you know about that, 14 wins, 15 wins randomly. And Joe Burrow reminds everyone that he's the second incarnation of Joe Montana and Jamar Chase. Everybody is Randy Moss again, and everybody just everything clicking again. So I surmise that's what's going to happen. And remember, Burrow's playing for money. People are talking about trading him. People are talking about re-upping the bag. And if you can never bet on somebody, it's when you're re-ing up the bag. You got to kind of bet on that. So I think it's the Ravens to lose, but I think sneakily, I think the Bengals are going to be in there. I think towards the end of the season, I think George says the defense isn't going to do enough for them to get the wins. And I think ultimately Ravens win the division, but I think the Bengals will be right there nipping on the heels and make it exciting for people for this season.
I'm not betting against. I'm not betting against Cincinnati, and Will is right, because when Burrow gets to that burn in his saddle, that he wants to prove a point because he is that good. He makes things happen, but they have nobody on defense. I mean, Keith, you gonna be playing corner for them. That's how boring it is. It's just horrible.
Well, in segment 2, we're going to actually break down some of these players and see who some of these guys are that we don't know. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
Today's student athletes face pro-level challenges without pro-level support. The CKA SAVE project is here to change that. For 16 plus years, Dr. Keith Adams and his team have provided comprehensive academic and athletic support from middle school through post-graduation transitions. NIL guidance, transfer portal navigation, academic coaching, career planning, they've got it covered. The CKA SAVE project. When your future is on the line, experience matters. Learn more at www.ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2. We've got some players to watch, the impact makers in the AFC North. So let's go to the Ravens. So there are 3 guys that I kind of want y'all to pay attention to, fans. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, he's the focal point. But again, whenever that contract comes up, something always funny happens. And he is playing for a new coordinator in Declan Doyle, who is getting some head coaching interest. You also have Devontae Walker, wide receiver. He is posed for a breakout year. And Trey Hendrickson, an edge rusher. He is a high-profile arrival, tasked with stabilizing the pass rush. In terms of Cincinnati, it's Eric All Jr., the tight end. He's returning from injury. And, of course, Joe Burrow, can he stay healthy? Because you can't throw on your back. Cleveland, Quinshon, is it Judkins, Will, the running back?
Judkins, yes, Judkins.
This is for fantasy people. He is the most talented offensive runner they have. And Carson Switzinger, the linebacker, he is the reigning defensive rookie of the year. Always got to sneak into Paul Heyman. And, for Pittsburgh, no wide receivers mentioned. You got Zach Frazier at center. serving as the communication hub for the offensive line, and Joey Porter Jr., cornerback, transitioning from a high potential selection to a true shutdown corner.
Where?
Uh,
Where? Shut down what? What is he shutting down?
So my guess is, George, that you're not a fan of Joey Porter Jr.?
Joey Porter got cooked so much last year. He is on name alone. When you watch him on film, he just got cooked last year. When the Ravens scored a touchdown in that back and forth game to finally take the lead late before that improbable touchdown score, Joey Porter Jr. was the one who got cooked. Joey Porter Jr. got cooked regularly. He's a dude that if I was coordinator, I'd be looking to move him to safety because he can't cover his shadow. Their secondary is the weakest part of that defense. Their secondary weakest part.
To say that about Pittsburgh, it's amazing to even say that out loud. Yeah. That's crazy to say.
Yeah,
I've been a fan 30 years. I've never heard someone say defense is the problem in Pittsburgh. That's gonna be.
I didn't say defense. I said secondary because, and the reason they're not in like giving up the most, in the one of the teams giving up the most yardage or whatever or touchdowns or whatever is because of their front seven. You still got T.J. Watt. You still got little Ironhead Hayward. The linebackers are really good or are very good. So that pass rush and stuff keeps it from happening. But Joey Porter Jr. will bite on play action like Fat Albert bites on cake. All right, it's horrible. And there's on the other corner, they're not any good either. And their safeties aren't great. Their secondary is full of holes. So, and when you come up talking about transition player or player to watch, yeah, you're gonna watch him get beat.
All right. So, Will, are there any players in the AFC North that have caught your eye? I tried to throw out some players from each team. George did bite on the Joey Porter. What about you, sir? Anybody that catch your eye?
If Trey Hendrickson can really be that player to change the game for the Ravens, if he can be that disruptor, if he can be that I would say 15 to 17 sacks. You're looking at, if everything else goes well, if he's a 15 and 17 sack guy, Ravens should end up in the Super Bowl. I don't know if they win it, but they'll end up in the Super Bowl. They have so many talent in every facet of their defense. Now they have Trey Hendrickson to push the edge. You got Patrick McQueen as linebacker. You still got Kyle Hamilton as the DB. You still have ballers. If Trey Hendrickson can actually set the edge, 15, 17 sacks this season, you will see Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl competing for the Super Bowl championship this year. Barring, obviously health and things like that, but there's really no other reason. They have the quarterback they need. They have the running back that they need. They don't have to lean on Lamar Jackson. My questions always are going to be the receivers because I just don't believe in Bateman and all those guys and the receivers.
Wow.
It is what it is, but at the end of the day, he is the guy that can push them over the top. He's the guy that at the end of the day, when you're going against the Josh Allens, when you're going against the Mahomes, when you're going against the Joe Burrows, you got to get him on the ground, and you have a guy like that can get him on the ground. So I expect the Ravens to actually make it to the Super Bowl with everything going on. Judkins, I don't think Judkins is going to be. He broke his leg terribly last week towards the end of the season. We'll see if I don't even know if he's in camp. Everyone else, I'm not really big on. I think Burrow, like I said, Burrow's going to be in there. He's playing for money. He had proven a point. Last couple of years, he hasn't played too very well. And again, when you have a guy like Jamar Chase, you're going to ball anyway. But I think right now, based on what is said, if Hendrickson go out there and gets 15, 17 sacks, expect to see them in the Super Bowl.
Hey, remind me real quick. Hendrickson, he was the leading sacker for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, my fault. Because I know I said who plays defense for Cincinnati. Because we still got a question mark out there.
They got rid of him. They got the brother they got the dude they drafted, the rookie. We'll see what happens. But still, now you got two games a week, 2 games a year. You're gonna play against you're gonna play the Bengals. I know what you're running. I know what the offense is doing. Y'all ain't changing everything. You know, I know where Burrow likes to go. I like the sets and everything like that. You know, he should have an amazing season. Like I said,
And
go
the
see
thing
what again.
Yeah, go ahead and say it again because I think the big problem with the Ravens last year and their defensive issues was scheme more than anything else. And now you got a new coordinator, so that changed it because you're right, Will. They have dogs on defense. I don't. That's why I'm looking at them as being the team to catch again. Like it feels like we say it every year, but it seems like it's more dominant because the rest of the teams have gone down. I'll tell you one player that you watch that's not on that we don't that Keith didn't mention. I want to see what Verse when he gets to Cleveland because I think Cleveland's got as quiet as kept. Cleveland's got a lot of pieces on their defensive side, and I think Verse being on there and he's going to be in that role of being the man. I think he's going to have a big year. Now I don't think he's going to be as dominant as my man who just left, but I think he's going to do an adequate job of filling the shoes, and I think it's going to fill. They're going to fill a lot of holes. Cleveland's going to be a tough out. I see them being in every game. As long as they don't do something stupid with quarterback, just put Sanders out there and roll with it. But it's because he's probably the only one they got that can put up points. But if you do something, if you start one of the other ones, it's gonna be an issue, boy. It's gonna be an issue.
All right.
For the Ravens, remember one of the biggest things that the Ravens, they got rid of Harbaugh. So all the reasons where guys getting hurt, in November, December,
Oklahoma drill.
well, yeah, he doing he doing that in December with professional. He's destroying his guys' bodies. That's going to be the biggest thing when this new head coach in. Keep the guys fresh, coach. I think, coach, you can speak to that as well. In November, December, we're not running sprints. We're not doing suicides. We're doing shooting drills. We're doing that. So I hope that's something like Sean McVay. I think can capitalize on the talent that they have and just taking on that next level. Keep them healthy, please. That's the biggest thing. Last 3 years for the Ravens, keep them healthy. I think that's a path for them to get to the Super Bowl.
Hey, and one other thing, man. Look, I heard that they passed the ordinance. All massage parlors are closed in downtown Cleveland.
Okay.
So
With that being said, in segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here. And for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CKA Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches Podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. In segment 3, strictly for entertainment purposes only, we will talk about the betting landscape and the playoff outlook. So I will put my final bets down on our preseason show. So I'm just talking out loud with everybody. Cincinnati, the over-under is 9.5. They are a consensus safe favorite to have the over. They have the third easiest schedule. They got a revamped defensive line. So I kind of like the over. But again, strictly for entertainment purposes only. Cleveland's over-under is 6.5. They've got the easiest schedule, and the floor is high. Their playoff viability rests entirely on the quarterback competition. Deshaun Watson versus Shedeur Sanders. I'm going to leave them alone. Pittsburgh over-under, shockingly, is 8.5. I think you can go ahead under with that this year. That's about as deep as I'm going to go. Will, what's the Ravens over-under?
11.5.
Ooh. They're good for a good choke every now and then. So I will defer to that. So, Will, any thoughts on the over-unders for the AFC North? Strictly for entertainment purposes only.
And strictly, I'm going to tell you right now, the Ravens are going to hit that 11.5 win over. Taking the over. I'm take it easy. I think it's going to be like 14 wins.
Yeah, I'm with you, Will. I'm with you. They're gonna get at least 12. Yeah, I got you. I'm with you.
Bengals. I'm gonna take under with 9 wins. I don't think they get over the top. I don't think they get double-digit wins. I don't think they have the defense to win those games to get over 10. Cleveland. I'm gonna say.
I'm going over.
Under.
I'm going over.
I wouldn't be mad at that. But it makes a decision who they chooses to be your quarterback, and that's going to be a big thing for them because they can win a lot of games with both of them. It just depends on what you drop them in when it happens. So
it's 2 Achilles for Deshaun Watson, man. That's a lot.
They can't win. They can't win games with Deshaun Watson back there. He ain't doing it.
Steelers, you give me the under. I'll try 8.5.
Yeah.
Who's that?
How in the world they get 8.5 with Tom?
Terry Bradshaw must have given the line.
Terry Bradshaw putting them odds together.
Yeah, it would have to be scheduled. It would have to be scheduled to even believe that 8.5. But I don't see them. You're losing 2 to Bengals. You're losing 2 to the Ravens. That's 4.
Hey,
5.
George, PK is the wide receiver for Pittsburgh, correct?
Yeah,
correct. There you go. That's who you're throwing to.
I mean,
it took me 3 segments to think of a wide receiver.
But they couldn't throw to him last year.
Right.
I'm just happy I remember the wide receiver.
When he wasn't knocking out people with blue hair.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! All right, final thoughts, George. How many playoff teams coming from the AFC North?
Yeah, they got the possibility of getting 2, and that's if Joe Burrow gets hot.
All right. And Will, how many you got?
Same thing with George, 2, and the same teams: Raven, Bengals.
All right, and Will, you're very high on the Ravens going far in the postseason.
Oh yeah, I expect them to be in the Super Bowl. I don't know if they'll win it, but I expect the Ravens to be in the Super Bowl. You got the Kansas City Chiefs coming off the week season. Mahomes, we'll see if he plays. There's really nobody else that's really. I mean, the
Travis just got there. We ain't even worried about.
I'm not gonna hate on the Patriots. They still a very good team, but I think Baltimore, I mean, you have the clearest path to the Super Bowl. I think they need to take that step and do their thing. If they don't get it this year, I don't think if the Ravens will win the Super Bowl ever. If they don't win it.
Yeah, the contract piece is gonna bother me going into the season because it doesn't seem like it's gonna be an easy get. George, do you have a big game winner coming out of the AFC North?
If I got to put my money on anybody, I'm with the Ravens. But you got to remember though that the past couple of years, every time any of that group of, I guess you want to say elite quarterbacks or so-called what you want to call it, every time they're coming up, their contract years up, they have huge seasons. Last time Lamar's he had a huge season. Joe Burrow did. I mean, they all do. So I expect the same thing to happen again. They go out there and play like they got something to prove when they really don't. You know what I'm saying? I let them. I see that happening huge. And I'm with Will. if this is the year, if they're going to do it, the Ravens are going to do it. This is the year to do it. There isn't, but New England's going to be good again. Buffalo's a question mark. We don't know what we're going to get. And Joe will just wait for Josh Allen to have his every year meltdown like he does every year.
Every year.
Yeah, throw 4 interceptions or whatever. I know they love giving them a pass. We'll see how long they do that. So we'll see what happens. But if they're going to do it, this is one of those years to do it, man.
All right. So, on behalf of our Cavalcade of Stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches Podcast, the global authority on coaching leadership, where coaching wisdom meets real talk. Also seen on the Cascade Sports Network. And we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Follow the Odd Coaches Podcast on the X platform at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Keith Adams and the CKA Save Project on social media at CKA Save Project. For more information about the CKA Save Project, visit them on the web at www.cksaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.